I said, don't do it, Murphy. You're sitting here sweating out a Drake Wichita State score like I am. getting angry about two teams that I literally couldn't care less for.
I feel like I'm not mad that I'm gonna lose my $3. I'm mad that I'm not gonna get 25.
Yeah.
Like I could care less that I'm gonna lose $3.
To me, it's $5. Like, okay, it's $5. But the fact is they were up by 14 and they're gonna blow it now. Just that's what kills me. Like I thought this one was easy money. I think Michigan State's going to whoop UCLA too, so I wasn't worried about that one. But the over was the only one killing me. But now I've got this one too, so we'll go as soon as this will go live. Mine's being slow too.
Live on mine.
Bro, my laptop is garbage tonight. I don't know why. It's pissed me off though. No. I lose my money, I swear. All right, cool. Got my bracket, my winning bracket. Basketball guru.
I had Georgia Tech in both, but now Georgia Tech is missing their big man, so I don't know how that's going to go. But I don't want to change it because then I know. Steal.
See, this dude's still on the foul.
Let's go. Steal on a three.
That's good.
Steal on a three.
That's what we like to hear.
That was big. Oh, that was big. Oh, wait, they're still down one. I thought that tied it. Oh, God.
Dylan, I hate you. I got so excited. I was like, oh, hey. All
right, that is big too far away from me. Curse my astigmatism.
Damn.
Okay, I think we're live now. I think it's finally. What's up, guys? Welcome into episode 11, the Checkerboard Check-In. We'll call it the special March Madness edition. I like that. I mean, that's where our minds are at anyway. That's what we were discussing. We got D. Scott, we got Murphy in. It's what we were discussing before we hopped on. It's time of the year when I'm sweating out a Drake and Wichita State first four game. Money line Wichita State, by the way. So if either one of you see me throw something, fist pump into the screen like I just did a minute ago, you know why now at least. Boys, what's going on?
Oh, not a whole lot. Just heartbroken that I'm not going to win this parlay. So, good start to the March Madness.
That's just the mood all around.
Yeah, I feel so much less confident about my 11-game parlay now that I'm about to lose my 3-game parlay. So
yeah, you can't win the big ones if you can't win the little ones. So
exactly.
We'll gonna talk mostly basketball tonight, mostly vol basketball. That's all that's on anybody's minds anyway. We'll go ahead. We'll get it out of the way. Baseball. If you haven't seen it, me and Murphy, Landon with more important issues. We've got a baseball show going now. The Bat Flip. I love the name. We've got it aired today, but it's probably going to be every Tuesday. What do we say? 7 Eastern. Was that right?
Yeah.
Close to 7 Eastern. We'll be around there. But go check it out. Only about a half hour, but I feel like it's a good time for talking baseball. I mean, you don't get too far into the weeds, especially early in this point in the season. SEC play this weekend coming up in Athens against the Bulldogs. I know Murphy referenced it last night. You just always want to beat Georgia in any sport. You don't ever want to lose to Georgia, no matter what it is. But sitting at 14-3 on the year, ranked number 10 in the country, first time or highest since 2006. So if y'all got any comments on it, I mean, I know we gave out our MVPs. Go check it out last night for this point in the season. It's really all I got, though. I mean, I was just going to kind of brush over football real quick.
Yeah, that works. I mean, we talked about it last night. Got to beat Georgia. Got to get the SEC part of the season off to a good start. So go check out the bat flip for sure.
Yes, sir. Well, football, not much. I mean, we're in that dead part of the year right as the cold's leaving, right as spring practice is about to start. I mean, we had the COVID outbreak, but I mean, how much are you really missing right now? I mean, you're missing a few workouts, so sucks that it happened, but I mean, it's better to get it now, and hopefully by this point in August, we don't have to worry about it anymore. So I feel like it's kind of COVID hit a 3 late that cut into the spread a little bit, but it's not going to matter much. So, and I say that as Wichita State just lost, so our parlays are done for.
I swear you said it before. I was watching it as it happened.
Okay.
As you said it.
I got to focus back in now. That's the good thing. We got a 13-team parlay tomorrow, so we're right back on it. But yeah, I mean, I didn't have anything else on football. Recruiting slow right now. Just waiting on spring practice this time. Is it next week, next Monday when they were aiming to start?
The 23rd, I know. I don't know if that's Monday or not.
Yeah, that's Monday.
18th, yeah. And I think they said around that time was when the outbreak was going to be, everybody was going to be getting close to back anyway, so maybe they postpone it a day or two. You've got the spring game on, what is it, April? Is it 24th, the spring game, the orange and white game? So
yes,
not much to talk about there, really. I mean, I think we've said all we can say up to this point until spring starts and we start getting the players that are standing out, then start getting an idea of what the team's going to look like. So if y'all want, we'll just go ahead and hop into basketball. Tennessee taking on Oregon State tomorrow, 5 seed versus 12 seed, the Pac-12 champions. I'm worried. I'll say that. I'm worried, to say the least. I mean, I think we beat Oregon State. Well, I'll get y'all's takes on it, but seeing that this team struggled to put two good games back together for the last couple months now, I mean, I'm worried. So what do y'all think?
Go ahead, Murray.
I mean, it's a favorable matchup to a certain degree, I think. I'm sitting here looking at the team stats for Oregon State, comparing them to Tennessee, and I mean, they're not that much. They don't shoot the ball better from the field statistically. They're a little bit better from the 3-point line, but I mean, not really that much. Kind of this similar free throw percentage as well. So, I mean, it all comes down to what Tennessee team you're going to get throughout this tournament, because you're now at the point where you lose, you come out and have a bad game, you're done. There's not coming out in 3 or 4 days or a week or so and having another shot at it. You're having to give your best game every single time you step on the court from here on out. So you got to get the good version of Tennessee and not the bad one. So if they can, I mean, I'm with you. I'm worried about it. I don't necessarily know how much I would be worried about this one. I mean, I guess it really doesn't matter. Like I said, you lose, you go home. So I think statistically, well, not statistically, but like thinking back to previous March Madness tournaments and brackets I filled out, 12 seeds typically upset the 5 seed quite a bit, if I remember correctly. So that kind of has me worried, just kind of superstitious there. But I think they'll be fine through this matchup. It's when you get past this one is kind of where the concerns pick up for me personally.
What you got, D. Scott?
I got Tennessee. That's a lock. It's going to happen.
That's your lock?
5/12 is a lock. My evidence is that I said it. So
nice.
I'm not worried about this one. I'm worried about Oklahoma State in the next round.
Yeah, I thought you had a good point, Murphy, about it's – I guess more of my worry isn't so much about the game. It's the fact that if you don't do well in this game, you don't get another one. It's not really Oregon State that scares me because, like you said, if you look at some of the stats, some of the matchups, it actually looks like we should win. I know we're 7.5-point favorites on FanDuel last time I checked. So it's not that. It's the fact that if you don't show up, it's not, oh, well, next game, hopefully we'll show up then. It's, oh, well, see you next year. So that's the main part that worries me. The 12/5 doesn't really as much, just because I'm looking at the bracket right now. We'll break down our brackets for the majority of the show. But in the other 5 versus 12 matchups, I could easily see. I feel like there's only typically like one a year that you'll see like that. And judging by mine, I see a lot more possibilities where it would happen than our game. Like the one that really stands out to me is UC, Santa Barbara, and Creighton. I could see Creighton going down in that one. The other one was, let's see, Colorado, Georgetown. I could see Georgetown winning that one.
I got Georgetown.
Villanova and Winthrop. Winthrop, I wouldn't have said, but Villanova's missing their best player now. So, I mean, there's a lot where
I would say for Winthrop, they play in the Big South, which is what Radford's in. So, I mean, I've seen them play. I do know that the Big South was weak. So while they have a dominant record, they didn't play very much. So they are a strong team. And I feel like they deserve where they, deserve everything they got, the championship and the 12 seed. But I don't think they're going to be ready for some of the big boys.
Yeah, I didn't. I've still got Villanova in that one, but I could see it. That's the thing. Looking at March Madness brackets, you think, oh, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. But then there's some that you're like, yeah, I could easily. Because I saw the stat. It's 1 in 9.2, like quintillion is the odds of picking a perfect bracket. So, and to my knowledge, I don't think it's ever been done before. So we're all just chasing something that I don't think we'll ever get. But I could see a lot more that would scare me, a 5 versus 12, than the Tennessee one does. Like B. Scott said, moving on to the next round, though, you play first team AP All-American Cade Cunningham, who's probably going to be the number 1 pick. If not, he's at least top 5, top 10 pick. So he's up there. I mean, that one worries me. But if you stop Cade Cunningham, they're a good team, but he's what powers them. And I mean, all it takes is in March, something like that, is he gets in early foul trouble. He comes out, he's just not hot that day. It literally could come down to anything. So that one, if you win Oregon State, that Oklahoma State, that's going to be a big one, just determining how did you win it. Not necessarily if you won it or lost it. I mean, winning is the most important thing, but was it because Cade Cunningham spent 12 minutes in the first half on the bench with 3 fouls, or did you actually come out and had a strong shooting performance? You rebounded well. So I don't have in either one of my brackets. I don't have Tennessee getting past the Sweet 16. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I think I've got us beating Oregon State in one and then beating Oklahoma State in another one. But then the next one, I think I've got Oklahoma State taking us down. I always do a Tennessee fan bracket, then I do a realistic one. So fall right in the middle of that. Murphy, you got anything on it?
I mean, I would say this team's so frustrating. We've talked about it for weeks. Keenan and Sawyer are mainly our basketball guys, and they're not here, so can't turn to them. But they're so frustrating because it's a team that could make a deep run, and yet they could be bounced out tomorrow afternoon, and we're sitting here next Thursday with nothing to talk about basketball-wise. So I have a bracket where I took Tennessee all the way to the Final Four. Like you said, I always have one of those just in case it were to happen. I don't have them winning it per se, but I'll get to how far I have them going when we go over the bracket. But yeah, they're super frustrating, and it's going to depend on what happens when they come out. That's all we can say. Honestly, it's what we've been saying for weeks. So
yeah, we'll start it. We'll get in the brackets. We'll start in the West. Everybody got their brackets pulled up?
Yeah.
So I'll run through mine. Y'all want to go pick? You want to go game by game or just go through the region and then each one go through the region?
Each one go through the region. That'll be fun.
Okay.
Region, yeah.
So I've got Gonzaga first game. Does anybody disagree with that? I mean,
No.
in the country, yeah, that's
No.
what I figured. Second game, I've got the upset. I've got Missouri over Oklahoma. I've got UC Santa Barbara beating Creighton. That's my 12/5. That's my one that I've got there. Then I've got Virginia over Ohio, USC over what is now Drake. Thanks for busting my parlay, Drake. Kansas over Eastern Washington, Oregon over VCU, Iowa over Grand Canyon. So my two upsets, Missouri over Oklahoma, 9/8 isn't earth-shattering there, but I do have the 12 UC Santa Barbara over Creighton in the what was that, the West region.
You can go ahead, D. Scott.
All right. Yeah, I got Gonzaga, obviously. I also took Missouri over Oklahoma. I feel like the SEC was kind of strong this year, so I feel like they've seen some competition. I feel like they're going to be ready. They're a little more tough, I guess you could say, than Oklahoma. I mean, not that they played a weak schedule, but I think Missouri's just going to be more ready. I got Creighton, however you say it, Virginia, and I got USC over Drake, Kansas over Eastern Washington. I struggled on the Oregon VCU one because VCU is known to, just come out of nowhere, at least for the first game or so. But I did take Oregon, and then obviously Iowa over Grand Canyon. That was a really tough one. 2/15, but Grand Canyon, that's a solid athletic department over there.
Definitely. I see a lot of commercials for Grand Canyon University here in Georgia. I don't know if you guys see those as well, but
see them everywhere. Yeah.
Makes me want to be an antelope, man.
Yeah.
I know, for real. Let's see. I had Gonzaga as well. Feel like that doesn't need to be talked about. I also took Missouri over Oklahoma. The thing for me that stood out, just right off the bat, looking here at their strength of schedule, according to CBS Sports, they had the fourth highest strength of schedule. And for them to have the record that they did, like you said, the SEC was so good. I just feel like you said, they're going to be more ready for a game like this. So I took Missouri, Creighton, then Virginia over Iowa or Ohio, USC over Drake, Kansas winning. I also kind of sat here with the Oregon VCU game. I ended up taking VCU just as like a surprise upset with that one. Just like you said, they're always notorious for making a bit of a run in these kind of tournaments. And then Iowa over Grand Canyon.
Yeah, I mean, we're all pretty close there. A little discrepancy. I think I had the biggest upset prediction in that one. Nobody else took Creighton to lose.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. The one in that, the one that could really surprise me that I don't think a lot of people, because I've seen other people saying Creighton could lose Villanova. I feel like they're the two that are. I haven't seen many people saying that we'll get upset in that 5 versus 12. The one that would not surprise me at all, and people may say I'm crazy for saying it, would be Ohio over Virginia. Ohio, I can't remember. I'm trying to find the kid's name right now, but I know he is I've watched a couple Ohio games, just pulling highlights. The guy's a stone cold killer. It's one of their guards. I can't remember his name. I feel like he was the player of the year in the conference, something like that.
Virginia, they can easily be beat. I mean, you remember just a few years ago, they were the first number 1 seed to get beat by 16. And they're definitely not as strong as that national championship team they had a couple years ago. So, I don't think it's going to happen. I think there's a good chance that it could.
Jason Preston's his name, I believe. It seems like every time I've watched him, he's been impressive. So that's one that I'm not picking it, but if it happened, I'd be like, hey, it's a little surprising, but I could see it.
Yeah.
But
definitely.
Let's see. We can just stay in the region. We can go to the round of 32 there. I've got Gonzaga over Mizzou. I don't think Kwanzaa can pick off Mark Few right there in that matchup. I've got Virginia over Santa Barbara, Kansas over USC, and then Iowa over Oregon.
Okay. Yeah, I got Gonzaga over Missouri. You know, Missouri did have a strong schedule, but it ain't that strong. I have Creighton beating Virginia in the second round.
Okay.
Because, like I said, Virginia, they could very well lose a game like that. I could see them getting upset in the second round, especially Creighton coming off a win. You know, I know it's just the first round against the 12 seed, but smaller school like that in the big dance, you know, ride the momentum a little bit. Really depend on how that first round game went. I got Kansas over USC and then Iowa over Oregon.
Not bad. I took Gonzaga over Missouri. Same reason. Gonzaga's just too good. I was debating between the Creighton and Virginia game. I ended up going Virginia. Just think they're too better of a shooting team for Creighton. I took USC over Kansas. I don't know why necessarily. I guess maybe I just think Kansas might not be ready for something like that. I don't really know. I don't remember my reasoning behind that at all, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, but I'll stick with it. Why not?
Yeah, you can't. Once it's made official in the checkerboard check-in, you can't take it back.
Can't go back. I don't know. I guess maybe I just wasn't impressed with Kansas this season, so I don't know.
We whooped them.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that's where I'm getting it from. And then Iowa over VCU.
Yeah. Okay, so we're all different there. I got Gonzaga, Virginia, Kansas, Iowa. D. Scott's got Creighton over Virginia, and then USC over Kansas from Murph. So I figured we all be pretty identical in that first one, but okay. We'll go to the East now. Well, now we'll finish it up. We'll finish up the West. I've got Gonzaga over Virginia and Iowa over Kansas, which I don't necessarily like Iowa over Kansas. I feel like I'm going – well, I won't tell you who's winning this bracket. This was the first bracket I made, but I think in the second one I took Kansas over Iowa, so I covered both my bases there. But I got Gonzaga versus Iowa in the next matchup.
Yeah, I took Gonzaga. And then I took Kansas over Iowa. I think they're going to just find a way to win. I mean, that's really the only way I can explain it. I think they're just going to come out and I think they're going to win the game. I mean, I don't really know what else to say.
I'll stop you there. We can't get too much into the analytical breaking it down because it's literally in the name. It's March Madness, so we don't have to give big picks for any or big reasons for any of these. Your reason in this part of the year, your reason for this time of the year can just be looked good to me.
Win.
Yep.
Yeah, I got Gonzaga, Kansas in the Elite Eight.
I had Gonzaga over Virginia and then Iowa over USC. So I have Gonzaga and Iowa as well. Okay.
Me and Murph match there. I got Gonzaga winning that one. They're going to represent the West.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody the same there.
Yeah.
We'll move to the East then. The East next. Yeah. So I've got Michigan over Texas Southern, who actually did their part for my parlay. Thank you, Texas Southern.
For real.
I've got LSU over St. Bonaventure. I've got Colorado over Georgetown, Florida State over Greensboro, BYU over, I think it'll be Michigan State, but that one hasn't been played yet tonight. Texas over Abilene Christian. The only upset I have in this region is Maryland over UConn. I've got the 10 over the 7 there. My boy Scott Van Pelt, I think he'll rub his bald head, get some magic for the Terrapins this year. So I got Maryland there, and then I've got Alabama over Iona. So number 10, Maryland, my only upset there.
I also took Michigan, took LSU. I took the Georgetown upset over Colorado.
Okay.
I think that's going to be our 12 over 5 upset. Then I went Florida State, BYU, Texas over Abilene Christian. I also took the Maryland upset. So I got Maryland over UConn and then Bama.
I had Michigan, LSU. I took Colorado. I was going to take Georgetown, but ultimately decided with Colorado. Florida State over Greensboro, BYU, Texas over Abilene Christian. I also took Maryland over UConn, and then Alabama over Iona.
Okay, me and Murphy. And I will say I think in that second bracket where I had Kansas advancing, I think I took Georgetown as the upset in that one, and I had Creighton advancing. So we're almost identical pretty much. We just got different upsets in different places. But
Yeah.
Then I've got Michigan over LSU, Colorado over Florida State. I've got them beating 5-4 there.
Okay.
Texas over BYU, and then I've got Alabama beating Maryland. So one upset there.
Yeah, I got Michigan over LSU. Florida State, they're going to beat Georgetown. I spent a lot of time on the Texas BYU game. I really thought that BYU, I think if they want to, they can come out and give Texas a game. But ultimately, I took Texas, and then obviously Bama over Maryland.
I took Michigan over LSU, Florida State over Colorado. I also took BYU over Texas, actually. I was going back and forth on that one for a while, and then ultimately picked BYU. So I guess I was feeling a little dangerous creating this bracket. And then Bama over Maryland.
I think it's – I mean, I don't think it's a bad pick to take BYU over Texas.
I mean, it's only a 6-3. I mean, that's –
yeah, I mean – I think they could do it. It's just a matter of if they want to. It's the same thing with Tennessee. Or are they going to come out and play?
Right.
So, yeah, we'll see.
The last four in that one, I've got Michigan over Colorado. I think Colorado's wouldn't call it a Cinderella story. They're a 5 seed, but they're little run ends right there. So I've got Michigan moving on, and they're going to play Texas. I've got Texas upsetting Alabama right then.
Okay.
My reasoning, same as before. Don't know why. Just hate Alabama. Don't like Texas. Don't like Texas at all. But I feel like Alabama's defense is good, and we've seen that they can win when they don't necessarily shoot that hot. I mean, they just beat us like that. But I don't know. It's horns down, but over Bama. Here's Bama. Here's horns down. So they're right next to each other. I don't like Texas, but I got Michigan and Texas playing in that one.
Yeah, I got Michigan over Florida State. No chance do I see Florida State beating Michigan, especially after dropping the ball to freaking Georgia Tech, losing me more money. So that was guaranteed, but apparently not. And then I got Bama over Texas. I think, yeah, that was a big part of mine. Defense wins championships. So I was like, bet Bama.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got Michigan and Bama.
I also took Michigan, Florida State. I don't see Florida State being able to take Michigan down, like you said. And then this BYU Bama game, I went back and forth. I've probably changed this pick before I completed this a bunch of different times. I had BYU at one point, but the thing about Alabama, like you said, two things for me. If they get hot shooting, you're not going to stop that team. We've seen it with against Tennessee and then other SEC teams, and then the defensive part. So I ultimately took Alabama in that one. But I could really see if BYU gets to that point, I could see BYU or even Texas beating Alabama there for sure.
I mean, yeah, you kind of said it then. I'll come out and say it. Alabama, if they're hot throughout this tournament, especially if they beat Gonzaga in the Final Four, if they somehow were hot enough to do that, I could see them win it all. I mean, they remind me so much of that Auburn Bruce Pearl team. Now they didn't win it all; they lost Virginia, but they if you remember that game, they had every chance to win that one and just kind of fumbled it away. Yeah.
We're gonna have to end this show early because there's clearly something wrong with Dylan's feed.
If you've watched that Alabama team this year and you don't think in the back of your mind, now I'm not saying it'll happen. Obviously, I've got Texas upsetting them, so I don't believe it. But if you've watched that team and John Petty hitting 40-foot threes and just making it look easy, And I think I hate him, but Herb Jones was the best player in the SEC this year, and it wasn't even close to me. I mean, that dude, for such a big dude, he moves like a gazelle in dance shoes. I mean, I would kill to have him on our team. I would kill for it. That thinking the possibility of him down there with Pons is I have to stop right now because that I'm just working myself up for nothing there. I hate Alabama with everything in me, but Herb Jones is very impressive. I love watching him play. I hate that I love watching him play, but I do. In that final Michigan and Texas, I've got Michigan winning there.
I had Bama beating Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're dogging me. You want to end the show here, but you've got Bama
Because,
in the Final Four.
All right, this is different. Mine just
that's the D Scott
went to
element
the championship. This is different.
It's one more game. What are you talking about? It's one more game.
But one involves a trophy, one does not.
What does Alabama do a lot? They win trophies. So if it's a trophy deciding game, I could see it.
Dylan has COVID.
That's what,
Taylor has COVID. There's something wrong.
There's a difference between fandom and just admitting when you're up, you're up. When you're down, and I've just accepted it. So I've got Michigan there. What'd you have, Murphy? Did we say yours?
I didn't go yet.
Okay.
I have Michigan over Alabama, but I feel like the East, there's probably 3, maybe 4 teams I could see moving out of here. I have Michigan, but it wouldn't surprise me if a couple other teams made a run. So
we got 2 Michigans and a Bama. Okay. We'll go to the South now. I've got Baylor over Hartford. I've got North Carolina over Wisconsin, Villanova over Winthrop, Purdue over North Texas, Texas Tech over Utah State, Arkansas over Colgate. I've got Florida over Virginia Tech, even though I've changed that one, like Murphy said earlier. I've changed it 3 or 4 times. I may still change it. Who knows? And then I've got Ohio State. So I have – that's kind of what worries me too. I have every favored seed advancing in that one, and that scares me because I just feel like there's an upset somewhere. More than likely – I mean, I could see Winthrop winning maybe. What D. Scott said earlier, D. Scott's right there. He's seen them. He's seen them up close. If it's a down year for the conference, that doesn't make me feel as good, but Villanova is missing their best player. I could see that one. I could see Utah State beating Texas Tech. I don't think it would happen, but I could see it. And then Virginia Tech over – screw it. I'm changing Virginia Tech to Florida or Virginia Tech. Y'all tell me, and I'll change it right now.
Virginia Tech.
Murphy?
I have Florida.
I have Florida too, so I'll leave it for right now. But by the end of the show, I'll update you. So I've got every higher seed advancing there.
So I actually had a few that, or I guess 2 that I went back and forth on this one. But I have Baylor over Hartford. I really wanted to pick Wisconsin over North Carolina, but I think North Carolina is going to find their traditional game and at least win the first round.
I think their front court is just too good there. I think they'll bully Wisconsin there.
Yeah.
I kind of struggled with it, but I saw that and I was like, okay, that makes me feel a little better.
So I got them beating Wisconsin. I got Nova beating Winthrop. Again, Winthrop's a great team. You know, they were definitely a power in the conference, but I don't think that the Big South prepared them for what they're about to see. I got Purdue over North Texas. Texas Tech, Utah State was another one I went back and forth for. It just seemed like a 6-11. I feel like is another one that you see an upset in. Ultimately took Texas Tech. Arkansas over Colgate. Virginia Tech over Florida. I was pretty confident in that one. I think Virginia Tech's going to take that upset. And then Ohio State over Oral Roberts.
I had Baylor over Hartford. I actually ended up going with Wisconsin over UNC. I think Wisconsin's 3-point shooting is going to help them in that one. So we'll see about that one. Villanova over Winthrop. Purdue over North Texas. The Texas Tech Utah State game was one I went back and forth on in my head, but I went Texas Tech. Arkansas over Colgate, Florida winning against Virginia Tech, and then Ohio State over Oral Roberts was pretty easy.
Okay, we'll move on. I've got Baylor over North Carolina, or Purdue over Villanova, Arkansas over Texas Tech, and Ohio State over Florida. So again, I've got the higher seeds prevailing there.
Yeah, I got Baylor over North Carolina. I have another 5/4. Villanova beats Purdue. No real reasoning. I feel like it could happen. I got Arkansas beating Texas Tech, and then Ohio State beating Virginia Tech.
I also had Baylor, Purdue, Arkansas, and Ohio State. So the top seeds moving there.
Okay. I've got Baylor over Purdue, and then Arkansas over Ohio State. So I've got Baylor and Arkansas in the final.
Okay. I got Baylor over Nova, and then Ohio State over Arkansas. I think the Ohio State-Arkansas was one I kind of went back and forth on a little bit, just again because the SEC was so strong. Even if you do lose, you still see some tough competition, so that's what you're used to. But I think Ohio State is probably – I think they're a better team.
Yeah, I had Baylor and Ohio State as well. I almost picked Arkansas on that one, but just ultimately went with Ohio. They're a better team.
Arkansas is just dangerous. I mean, I feel like theirs isn't just a hot streak either. I feel like Arkansas was good. It was a few years ago when Arkansas was pretty solid in the SEC. I feel like this could be the kind of the turning point for them where they're going to be a power for the next couple of years. Their coach is Musselman. I think he's a solid coach. Arkansas, I think they can get some decent talent. I kind of feel like this isn't just a hot streak for Arkansas. I feel like you could see them being a power the next couple of years. I do have them losing, however. I've got Baylor over Arkansas in the final there.
Yeah, I got Baylor over Ohio State.
Yeah, I have Baylor over Ohio State.
Okay. So I've got Gonzaga, Michigan, Baylor. What do y'all have? Is it the same?
I got Gonzaga, Baylor, or Gonzaga, Bama, Baylor.
Bama, okay. Me and Murphy's the same, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm the same as you.
Okay. Finally in the South, we have got it's the Midwest. Yeah, the Midwest. I've got Illinois over Drexel. No debate there. I've got Georgia Tech over Loyola, but they're missing their big man now. I feel like a ton of people are switching to Loyola now. I want to change it too, but Pastner at Georgia Tech, I hated him when he was at Memphis, but I think he's a pretty solid coach. I feel like there's too many people switching to Loyola now, so I'm gonna stay solid. I'm gonna hang with Georgia Tech there. I've got Tennessee over Oregon State. We mentioned it earlier. I think it always scares me when my team is in a win or go home matchup like this. But like Murphy said, I think we do have the matchup advantage there. I've got Oklahoma State over Liberty, San Diego State over Syracuse. I did, however, in my other bracket, I think I picked Syracuse there. I'm kind of wanting to change it right now. Yeah, I'm going to change it. I'm going to go Syracuse over San Diego State. So axe that. I've got West Virginia over Morehead State. I've got Clemson over Rutgers, and then I've got Houston over Cleveland State. So my upset there is Syracuse.
Yeah, I took Illinois over Drexel. I took Georgia Tech over Loyola. Yeah, so they're right. I think they're going to ride that ACC tournament champions high, and I think they'll end up winning. Tennessee over Oregon State. I took Oklahoma State over Liberty, but I think that's going to be a close game because Liberty always has a strong team in many of their athletics. So I think
they always shoot it. They already shoot it really well too. It seems like.
Yeah. So I don't know. Deep down, I feel like San Diego State's probably still going to win, but I don't know. I picked the upset. I picked Syracuse. over San Diego State, West Virginia over Morehead, took Rutgers over Clemson, and then Houston over Cleveland State.
Okay, Shiano.
Let's see. I had Illinois over Drexel. I actually picked Loyola over Georgia Tech before the guy from Tech went out, so I feel a little better about that now. But who knows? Again, like you said, it's March Madness, so anything can happen. Tennessee over Oregon State, Oklahoma State against Liberty, but I did kind of go back and forth on that because I think that's going to be a close game as well. San Diego State over Syracuse, West Virginia over Morehead State, Clemson, and then Houston over Cleveland State. I was going to pick Rutgers there, but I didn't. I don't remember why. So,
Yeah, I'll stay with Clemson.
yeah.
Another team before I say the next one's Houston. Well, I'll save it. I've got Illinois over Georgia Tech. I've got Tennessee over Oklahoma State. I've got West Virginia over Syracuse, and I've got Houston. So all the higher seeds except Tennessee. That'd be a 5 over a 4 there.
I have Illinois over Georgia Tech. I do, again, how many times do I have a 5 over a 4? Damn. I have it like 3 times. Tennessee over Oklahoma State. I think we'll find a way to win. And then I got West Virginia over Syracuse and Houston over Rutgers.
Illinois over Loyola. I also took Tennessee over Oklahoma State. I think that'll be a decent matchup. Fun game to watch. I think Tennessee could ultimately win that one. I got a little wacky here. I actually took San Diego State over West Virginia. Don't know why. Just felt a little dangerous again. And then Houston over Clemson.
You woke up feeling dangerous.
I guess so. I don't remember what day this was that I filled this out, but I was in a certain type of mood, I guess.
So we're at the Final Four. I'll start in the South Midwest just because I was about to say it right then, but then I realized what was about to come here. I've got Houston over Baylor there. It's what I was going to say. I feel like Houston could very easily. They're one of the. I feel like there are probably 6 teams that could win it all this year, and Houston's one of them. Every time I've watched them, I know especially the last time out when they played Cincinnati, this wasn't a normal Cincinnati team. I don't think they were nearly as tough and just physical as they have been in the past. But Houston beat Cincinnati by I want to say it was like 91-57, something like that. I mean, they smoked them. It wasn't ever even a close game. So I've got Houston over Baylor there in the championship, or moving to the championship. And then I've got Michigan over Gonzaga. This is my one. This is my bracket. It's the most confident one I'm in. I've got Gonzaga losing to the Final Four there. I feel like Michigan's their first big test just because they've got Iowa right before that. Iowa, they've got Luka Garza after that. I don't know. They don't stand out to me really. So I think that's the first big test for Gonzaga there. And I think they lose it. So I've got Michigan and Houston in the final.
I got Baylor over Illinois, and then Gonzaga over Bama. So got a Gonzaga Baylor final, 1v1.
I also have Baylor over Illinois, and then Gonzaga over Michigan. So same championship matchup as you, D. Scott.
So I went the opposite on both those games. I mean, it makes sense. Gonzaga and Baylor have been the two best teams.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely, if you look at like the stats and stuff, at least that ESPN provides, like it just seems like they were powerhouses all year. And I feel like it's going to stay the same throughout the tournament.
That kind of lines up with my 6 that I think could win it all. I think Gonzaga could win it all. Michigan, obviously. Baylor, Houston, that's 4. I guess 7 then, because I could see Illinois, Bama, or Houston winning. So I guess there's 7 that I could really, and none of those would really surprise me. But yeah, in the final, I've got Michigan over Houston by a score of 74-67.
Yeah, I got Gonzaga over Baylor 81-76.
I had Gonzaga over Baylor 76-68, I think is what it says. Yeah.
I don't know.
Go
I mean,
either way.
honestly, as crazy as this year's been, who's to say that Texas Southern couldn't win it all? Who knows? I mean, it's just, I mean, it's been insane. So I don't know. I mean, that's our whole bracket pick there. Like I said, I've got two more in where I could easily swap a couple around and I could see it, but the one we're all worried about is Tennessee. Without a betting interest in there, with just our fandom on the line, that's the one. I guess that's it. That's all I've really got there. Y'all got anything else on it? Any games we didn't really talk about that much you're interested in? Any players, anything like that?
No,
I
I think.
oh, go ahead, man.
Go ahead, Murphy. You're good, brother.
I was just going to say, if it does happen, which it looks like it's going to, that Tennessee-Oklahoma State game is going to be really fun to watch because I'm really interested to see who they put on Cunningham. I think it would make sense to put either Pons or Keon Johnson, but which one are you going to go with there? I don't know. I think that's just going to be really, and obviously I'm a little biased because of the whole Tennessee thing, but I just think that's going to be a fun game. Really, really hope they can get past that one. But again, I don't see them getting past Illinois. But it is possible. I mean, we've said it. They could make a deep run if they play to the best of their ability, but they haven't done it all season. So I don't feel too confident that they will. But that one game, if that happens, that would be a really good one for me.
Yeah, I mean, to me, Tennessee, talent-wise, and maybe y'all disagree, just from a pure talent-wise perspective, I think we're top 10 in the country. So, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me at all if we see the early season Tennessee and maybe they get hot, and who knows, maybe we're in a Final Four. I mean, I know Kenny Smith on TNT had us in there. Now, he had some pretty crazy other picks in there. I think he went a little upset crazy with most of his. I think North Carolina was in his, mate, which isn't he in North Carolina? So okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But he went a little crazy with his. I mean, we've been as high as number 6 in the country this year. So who knows? I mean, I'll ask y'all that because I agree with you. I'm interested to see if it's Keon or Pons. I think it's probably Keon just because I feel like Cade Cunningham's a little too quick for Pons just up top there. And I think that you could very easily get Pons in foul trouble quickly like that, trying to stay in front of somebody up top there. But yeah, I agree with that. I'll ask y'all this. So I mean, I know what the answer is going to be already, but all the frustration of having a great game, you have a bad game, losing to Florida by, 26, something like that. What round do you have to get to in this tournament where it kind of erases that? Because I've got one in my head. I want to see if y'all match what it like. I guess, I mean, what round do you get to where you're like, where you consider for the talent on this team, the expectations, what round do you have to get to be like, okay, that was a good year in spite of all the struggles? I say all the struggles, but we were 18-8. So we're a little spoiled with this team a little bit. I mean, wasn't terrible, but falling out of the top 25 when you're number 6 at one point, I'd call it struggling. To me, it's the Elite 8. I think you get there and you're kind of okay.
I'm gonna say Sweet 16.
Okay.
Because to get past Oklahoma State, that's a statement. And I think making it to the Sweet 16 and competing. Now, if you make it there and then just get, your crap handed to you,
I'd agree. Yeah,
maybe
I'd agree with that.
But yeah, I'll say Sweet 16 and compete.
I would say Elite 8 simply for the fact that you would more than likely knock off top seed Illinois in your region. That to me, after going through Oregon State, Oklahoma State, more than likely, and Illinois more than likely, that to me, you get to the Elite 8 there, probably against who would that be? Houston, probably.
Let's see.
I mean, I think
so.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that would, I mean, nothing nothing. I mean, to say it would like make me feel better about all the inconsistencies and stuff, that's still going to frustrate the hell out of me because this team's so talented and they could do so much. But getting to the Elite Eight, getting past the top seed Illinois, that would make me kind of be sort of like how I felt like with the Braves last year. They were one win away from the World Series. Coming out of that, I mean, I know they had 3 games to do it and they couldn't do it, but that point I was like, okay, that was a really solid season. We got something to build on. For Tennessee to get to this point, to the Elite Eight, would be kind of put me in the same spot because they got a pretty decent recruiting class coming in, so could keep going.
Yeah, I agree there. Just because you beat Oregon State, you're in the round of 32. Even with all the struggles, it still looks like everyone expects we're supposed to beat Oregon State. Oklahoma State, I think you should beat. Now, do we? I don't know. I think you should beat them, though, even though they're 1 seed higher. I mean, they're not if you just win a couple of those games that we inexplicably struggled in this year. If you're 19-7 or 20-6 instead of 18-8, you're probably the 4 seed there. You're maybe even up to a 3 seed with West Virginia. So,
that's a great point.
I mean, winning that one there, losing that one's unacceptable, I think. Now, can I see it happening? Sure. But losing it and being at, okay, yeah, that's fine. I mean, that's around a 32. No. Going to the Sweet 16 with Illinois, yeah, they're the top seed, but you were number 6 in the country at one time this year, and we're rolling, and you kicked the crap out of Kansas. So, I mean, it just losing to Illinois, I mean, I feel like a lot of fans be like, oh, yeah, that's fine. We lost to the 1 seed in the region, all that. To me, though, you were up there. You were up there with everybody else, and you were holding your own, and then it's like it fell apart. So if we beat Illinois there and got to the Elite Eight, I mean, who's to say you couldn't go further there? Now we'd play Houston, who I'm very high on. Houston's a very physical team, and I think they would give us all kind of fits. I don't think Illinois is nearly as physical as they are, but that's just my view from afar. That's the one where if you're able to beat Illinois, or maybe Illinois is not even there, if they get knocked off by, I mean, for me, it'd be Georgia Tech. I don't know what y'all had in yours. Loyola. I mean, we've seen Loyola, who put us out of the tournament a couple years ago. So, I mean, that's the one for me. If you win that one and you get to the Elite Eight, if you lost after that, you'd be losing to a lower seed. So I'd kind of be mad. But I'm like, well, we got to the Elite Eight and we beat the number 1 seed in our region. So I'm like you, Murphy. I don't think that would really give me more peace about it, but I could look back on that and say, hey, that wound up being a decent. And when's the last time we went to the Elite Eight? Was it when Stokes and Richardson were all here? Was that the last Elite Eight? When we played Michigan? I feel like it was.
I think so.
I think it was. I don't think we haven't been to one since then. I know that. And I think they got to the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
But,
I got mine a little different. I think if I have West Virginia beating Houston. So okay. I think if Tennessee gets past Illinois, then I think Tennessee could make the Final Four because I think Tennessee will find a way to beat West Virginia.
Right.
So, yeah. I mean, that's just my little tidbit.
It's all kind of a chain reaction, too, because I see West Virginia and I'm like, man, that's a tough game because they hung in there with Baylor a whole game at home. Now, Baylor did wind up winning that one, but I was really impressed with them. But in other games, I've looked at West Virginia and I've kind of been like, I don't really see the hype for them right there. I mean, so that's what I'm saying. I mean, this is the point every fan gets into this time of year. I could very easily see a round of 32 exit, or with everything playing out how I think it could potentially happen. I mean, who's to say you're not in the Final Four with an upset helping you out, or this team, not even an upset, this team just playing how we've seen them play before, and the offense actually working with the defense, and you don't have just one side of the ball show up. So it's the beauty of March, man. Do you have something you want to say, Murph?
Yeah, I was going to ask both of y'all to get your opinion. Let's say, because as far as I'm aware, Fulkerson hasn't been cleared to play yet, correct?
Right. not
Right.
from everything I've heard.
Okay. So let's say he's not able to play, like, as we go this tournament. Maybe if you make it to a later round, he could come back. But let's say he's not there for the Oregon State game and the Oklahoma State game. Do you think Tennessee gets through both of those games without Fulkerson?
I think they get through Oregon State. I don't think they get through Oklahoma State.
I think they still get through Oregon State, Oklahoma State. I want to say yes. I would have to look more at Oklahoma State's front court and see. I don't know if – I know I've said it on the show before that – I mean, everybody – doesn't matter what I've said on the show before. Everybody knows that our front court gives us fits. I mean, you've got Pons, who's a great defender, but you don't have that big guy down there. So I think they still could without Fulkerson at Oklahoma State. Now, against Illinois, there's no way because you just need as many big men as you can down there for them. But to answer your question, yeah, I think they could. Now, I'm probably, if you ask me to give percentage on that, I'd probably go 50.1 to 49.9 in favor. But yeah, I'll say yeah. I'll go the opposite of D. Scott there, but very minimally. Yeah. What do you think?
I'm probably right there with you. I could see them
because it's
getting past Oklahoma
It's
State.
Something we got to get ready for because I mean, at the progress he's going right now. I mean, I know he was walking on a treadmill as of was that yesterday, 2 days ago. So I mean, so if we beat Oregon State, which we should, when's the Oklahoma State game? Because Oregon State's tomorrow. Is it?
It'd be March 21st to the 22nd, one of those days. So that'd be what, Sunday or Monday?
It'd be Sunday. Today's the 18th. Tomorrow's the 19th. So yeah, Monday. Okay, Monday or Tuesday, I think. So beginning of next week. So that's not. I mean, that's a good point that you brought that up because if he doesn't play Oregon State, and it's not. Hey, he was a game time decision and they kept about. If it's something like, yeah, he's not going to play. I mean, from Friday till Monday, is there really enough time there with 2 days? He's not at his house. He's in a hotel right now. I mean, it's a good point you brought that up because if he doesn't play against Oregon State, as of right now, I don't think he would play against Oklahoma State, honestly. With only a 2-day turnaround between those two, that's just my 2 cents there. But I could very well see it.
Yeah, I was going to say I agree with you. If he's not like a game time decision against Oregon State, I don't think he plays against Oklahoma State since that's such a quick turnaround. But
because it was a concussion too, wasn't it? I know it was a fractured, like I'm guessing an orbital bone. That's normally around the eye. Whenever you see them, they've got a shiner like that under their eye. It's normally something like that. But I was thinking it was a concussion too. So.
Yeah,
the concussions. I mean, that's the thing. One day it can be fine, and by this point tomorrow, it looks like he's going to play, and then he wakes up tomorrow, and it's like it's went back a step or two. I mean, so who knows? But yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that was the best point. I could see where you're playing the first 2 rounds without John Fulkerson. That's a good point. I did want to bring up that's why I've said it before. When Murphy gets into the fine details, it reminds me of other stuff. Is it Brandon Huntley Hatfield, the 5-star power forward we're in on right now? Apparently, he's a class of 22 5-star power forward. Apparently, he's thinking about reclassifying to the class of 21 too. So you bring him in with Kennedy Chandler, Jemai Mashak, who apparently is supposed to be the truth. I mean, every time I see something about him, it's an analyst saying he's very underrated because he didn't get to play this year, his senior year. Apparently, California didn't have any basketball or very limited. I know he's a top 75 player, so that's nothing to look over. I think if we get him, if he comes to the class of 21, that may mean that Fulkerson's gone. I mean, I think we're all assuming Pons is gone too. I doubt Pons comes back another year. So, I mean, you'll have the space for him, I would think, because you're not keeping Keon. Springer, I don't think you keep Springer. I could see it more than Keon, but that's a great way to add instant size to your team, because I think he's 6'9" at least. And I mean, if he's class of 22, what is he, 17 years old right now? Maybe. What is this? This group right now is class of 21. Yeah, and some of them are just turning 8. He may be 16 still.
He could be 16,
yeah. I mean, so he'll be young, but who's to say he's not playing a lot next year with the lack of size we've got? So I know there's him, and I mentioned him last show. I still didn't pull his name up. The kid from Knoxville Catholic that's like 7'1". If we get him, I think he's only a 3-star, but that's if you're Rick Barnes, that's a great way to not only add talent with Huntley Hatfield there. And I know he's not in the boat yet. I mean, I know Jerry Meyer from 24/7 Sports put in a crystal ball for him to us. I know Jerry Meyer is a Tennessee guy too, though. So does he have the inside scoop there? Or is that kind of just a little bit of fandom peeking through? So if so, though, I mean, you want to cry about Keon being gone and Jaden Springer and Pons being gone, but you bring in Kennedy Chandler and Meshack, and if you're able to get both of those two as well, you've not only added talent, you've added size that you desperately need. Because I mean, if we had just a decent 7-footer right now, I love my boy Euros, but he's just, you saw it in the Alabama game. He gets on the floor and it's a run for the other teams coming. So if you just had a guy that was just decent at protecting the rim, just put him down low, maybe he can hit a hook shot or two, just not commit dumb fouls, not turn it over in the worst parts of the game. If you just had somebody like that, think how much better this team would be. I mean, it's a scary thought. So that was my other point I want to bring up. That you did see the crystal ball with Hatfield now, so wouldn't surprise me if maybe we land somebody like that. That's an instant impact right there. I mean, he's going to play a lot, no matter if he's still 16 years old or not. So that's all I've got now, I think. Any other points?
I was just going to say you need to land that guy or somebody of his ability and size, because I would be willing to bet Pons is not coming back. Fulkerson, I could see him coming, like it would make sense for him coming back, but then again, you never know. I think like you said, if you land Hatfield, you probably are sending Fulkerson out the door. But you lose those two guys, you've got to get one guy on the current team that I thought was really going to have a good season and kind of looked good at times. I think you've mentioned him before, Taylor's Kamwa. I mean, he's come into some games early on in the season, if I remember correctly, and looked pretty decent offensively and on the defensive side, and then has had his minutes completely wiped out.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened there. That was I think I said in one of our earlier shows that he was like the most improved guy for me. I mean, he went from being a liability on the floor to when you put him in. I mean, if we're being honest, I mean, early in the year when Fulkerson was struggling, I would have never thought I would have said that in the beginning of the year, but I was like, get Fulky out, like put Conway in. I mean, he was playing good defense. He was rebounding well. He wasn't scoring a lot, but all you need a guy like that to do is throw him the ball down low, let him get 6 points a game. I mean, that in college basketball, you see 6 points in the NBA, you're like, oh, wow. But on a team like Tennessee with the ball spread around as it is, 6 points for a guy like that can help you win 2 to 3 more games a year. So, yeah, I like that point. The guy, Hanjay Tamba, 7 foot 220 from Knoxville Catholic. That's the guy that I was proposing. Now he's only a junior apparently, but I think I saw something where he may reclassify. He's on that team with BJ Edwards, Blue Canes, the other one. So you could use him. 7 foot 220. I mean, just teach him to stand down low and hold his hands just vertically up in the air. That's all you got to do. Just hold your hands up and you'll get 2 blocks a game. So
Right. Throw him the ball and let him just kind of place it in the net there.
Yeah, you don't even have to jump, son. Don't have to run. Don't
No.
have to jump. Just stand there. I'm
Exactly.
perfectly fine winning cherry picking like that. Just you don't even have to run up the floor. Just stand there.
That's the thing that frustrates me so much about Uros is like I look at him, I look at how big he is, and I think if I was that tall, I mean, we all think, man, if I was 7 foot or even 6'9", 6'8", I'd be dunking on fools. I'd be LeBron James on the court, and I may or may not be. But just looking at him and seeing how soft he is, it's so frustrating.
He's just a teddy bear. He's just
He
I don't think he has any kind of killer instinct to him. Like he's just out there. He's just having a good time, man. And I mean, I love it.
Right.
He's the best bench teammate in America. But like, we didn't. I hate to say it, but it's true. We didn't start a whole Twitter campaign for Uros. Oh, he's going to be a monster. All this for him to be the best bench teammate in America, and that's what he's turned into. I've said it before. Some people say I'm crazy with it. Rick Barnes, he's a great recruiter of everyone except big guys. It's like we can't get a big guy for some reason. I'm not a huge fan of Rick Barnes, the in-game coach. I think more people are starting to see that now. He's not a great in-game adjuster, tactician. He's just not. I mean, it's kind of become the thing with him. It was kind of the thing when he came here from Texas. It's kind of stayed the same. So at a certain point, you kind of have to accept, like, yeah. Now, do I think we should have let him go to UCLA? No, I think we probably should have paid him. I mean, the UCLA said that's what he's worth. And I mean, y'all know, if you've watched the show before, you know my take on our money situation in Knoxville. We just paid an assistant coach to sit there. We paid him $500,000 to sit there for 51 days. So I'll never hear any complaints about, oh, there's not the money, anything like that. That's just moronic in my opinion. So, I mean, I didn't want to let him go because I didn't want to start a whole rebuild again. And he's proven that he's gotten us to a winning level again. Just if he could land a big guy, I feel like that covers up some of the in-game mistakes that he makes. That's a guy, that's an eraser that covers up for mistakes like that. So I don't know. I'm with you. I think Fulkerson's gone just because of the way he reacted on senior night. I was like you before that. I think he might come back another year actually, and just knowing how much he loves Knoxville, but the way he reacted then, I was kind of like, I don't think you do all that if you know you're coming back. That was pretty raw. So I'd say Fulke's probably gone. I don't know what his next step is because I don't know that he's an NBA guy really. But who knows? I mean, who's to say he's not back?
Yeah.
But that's all I've got. If we've got nothing else, that's been episode 11. Go back and listen to it. Tell us where our picks are wrong. Tell us where we're right. Tell D. Scott that his whole bracket sucks because it does. So
I will have the best record out of the three of us right now.
Okay.
That's my lock.
I'll send that to Old Takes Exposed once your yours is busted in the second round. But that's been episode 11. I had to get my dig at D. Scott in.
As always.
We'll see y'all next week. Have a good one.